Can I ask you, Katie? Obviously, understandably, a mother's duress during this, the stress and the anxiety that you must have gone through was horrific. And you're a 15-year-old girl thinking you love this man, and he's saying one thing to your mum, one thing to you. His behaviour started changing fairly quickly, didn't it, towards you? You suffered terribly at the hands of Ian Huntley.
Yes, I did, yeah.
What did he do to you?
He beat me, physically and emotionally, and sexually abused me.
How old were you when you became pregnant by him?
I was 16.
Was that the turning point that drove you back home to your mum?
It did, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to...
Katie,
I felt like...
sorry, by sexual abuse, do you mean rape? He raped you?
Yeah.
When you look back now at your mum, obviously you were 15 years old, your mum desperate to get you back home again. Obviously you have a child of your own now. Do you now sort of understand how absolutely appalling it must have been for your mum?
Oh, totally, yeah. I'd be devastated if anything like that had happened to my daughter.
But what was going through your 15-year-old mind at the time? Did you think he loved you? Or were you just so sort of, you know, under his influence that you weren't thinking straight at all?
Yeah, looking back at it now, I think it was infatuation. I didn't love him. I thought that at the time. I was only 15. And...
Yeah, a lot of young girls have gone that route, haven't they?
And can understand.
And when you were actually pregnant, wasn't one of the things he did, he pushed you down the stairs, didn't he?
Yeah, and punched me in the stomach. And that's when I realised that I needed to protect my daughter.
So it was because of your daughter saved your life, really, ultimately.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being that your mum stepped in and you were happy for her to step in at this point because you knew you had somebody else to think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Thank God you've got such a wonderful mum.
Yeah.
I mean, to go through such... it's a kind of... We're all mums here, and it's the kind of experience that you there but for the grace of God. Coming back home, you're now pregnant with Ian Huntley's baby. You're trying to just look forward. And I know, Jackie, that's something that you felt was very important. Don't keep looking back, look forward. You've got a new life, a child to think about now. You made the decision not to tell your daughter who her father was. Understandably, I think this is something we can all appreciate. Did you think that it was something you'd maybe tell him at a later time, or were you going to just try and keep it from her?
Yeah, my plan was to keep it from her. I wasn't going to tell her.
And what changed your mind?
Knowing that it would come out after he committed that awful crime.
I know we're going to talk to your daughter in a minute, but I just wanted to take you back to the Soham murders that we saw there that just completely gripped the nation. And, you know, we saw Holly's mum there completely devastated. When did you first realise that it was Ian Huntley? Had you seen, you know, where we saw him being interviewed before they knew it was him? Did you see any of that?
No, I was at work at the time. My brother called me and said that we wouldn't be able to get in the house because there's so many reporters outside. And I asked him what had happened, and then he told me, and when I got home, then I found out the full story.
So you obviously knew about the murders, but
I didn't know about nothing.
Oh,
No,
you
I
didn't?
didn't even know about the murders, no. If I'd have seen him on telly, I would have phoned the police and said it was him anyway.
So what did you feel at the... I mean, it's a hard question to ask, but you must have thought if the police had acted at the time that you first went to them...
That's right, yeah. Oh, yes, yeah. If the police had acted, you know, but you don't know. There were so many other victims that was, you know, that he got off, you know...
So he'd done that sort of behaviour before. Obviously, there were never any charges against him for that, but...
No, he got off with technical difficulties, but, you know, there was so many things that the police did wrong. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, the police have... we did give them a right to reply, just very quickly. They said they'd refer us to the 2003 Bashard inquiry, which basically said that a number of recommendations were made that the force implemented at the time to do with vetting procedures and child protection. So, yeah.
And we're going to bring your daughter on shortly, and your granddaughter on shortly. Before we meet Sammy, can I just ask you, when you came to the decision to actually tell her, because you said at first you weren't ever going to tell her who her father was, how old was she when you told her that the man who'd been raising her so wonderfully as her dad wasn't her real father? How old was she then?
She was 11.
So she then found out that she wasn't the biological daughter of your partner. When Sammy found out, we'll get in more detail from her when she comes on, she actually found out through doing a school project. Did you instinctively know that something had changed? Something had gone on?
Yeah, she went very quiet. She'd come home from school, go straight to her bedroom. She didn't really interact with anybody. Yeah. She didn't go out with her friends.
Were you worried that this was it? That she'd found out?
I didn't really know what to think at the time, until she spoke to me.
Okay,